Success is not for the chosen few. It is for the few who choose. Why do only 2% of people truly succeed while the rest struggle? Why do some individuals rise to extraordinary heights while others remain stuck in the same cycle year after year? The truth is, success is not about luck, talent, or even intelligence. It is about mindset, discipline, and action. Most people dream of success, but very few are willing to do what it takes. They start with ambition, but get lost in fear, distractions, and excuses. They settle for comfort instead of pushing themselves to greatness. The 98% wait for the perfect time, while the 2% create the time. Think about it. How many times have you set a goal only to give up when things got tough? How often have you seen someone with less talent and fewer resources achieve what you only wish for? The difference isn't opportunity, it's what people do with it. Success follows a formula, and the people who break through to the top follow patterns that anyone can replicate. The problem, most people never learn this formula. But today, that changes. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what separates the 2% from the rest. I'll break down the mindset, habits, and actions that lead to lasting success. You'll learn how to break free from mediocrity and step into your true potential. Stay with me for the next few minutes as I reveal the secrets of the 2%, so you can start your journey toward the life you truly deserve. Let's dive in. Number 1. The mindset of the 2%. Success is not accidental. It is not reserved for the lucky, the privileged, or the naturally talented. The harsh truth is that only 2% of people succeed because they think, act, and approach life differently than the rest. Success begins in the mind. Before you can achieve anything great, you must first master the way you think. Your mindset determines how you react to challenges, whether you push through setbacks, and if you take full control of your destiny. The 98% believe life happens to them, but the 2% know they are the creators of their future. The difference between the successful and the average person lies in how they perceive failure, opportunity, and responsibility. The 98% look at failure as a sign to stop, an indication that they aren't good enough. They fear rejection, setbacks, and uncertainty. They settle for the safe and predictable path, avoiding anything that requires discomfort. But the 2% see failure as a stone. They understand that every mistake, every rejection, and every obstacle is simply a lesson leading to growth. They embrace discomfort because they know that growth only happens outside the comfort zone. One of the biggest mindset shifts the 2% make is taking full ownership of their lives. The 98% blame the economy, their upbringing, their boss, or bad luck for their lack of success. They make excuses for why they can't succeed. But the 2% eliminate the word can't from their vocabulary. They take responsibility for their results, knowing that their life is in their hands. They don't wait for opportunities. They create them. Instead of complaining about what they lack, they focus on what they can control: their actions, their habits, and their persistence. Another crucial mindset shift is how the 2% think long-term while the 98% focus on instant gratification. Most people want results now. They want to lose weight in a week, build a business overnight, or get rich without effort. When they don't see immediate results, they quit. The 2% understand that true success is a marathon, not a sprint. They are willing to put in the time, energy, and patience required to build something great. They know that consistency compounds over time, and small daily efforts lead to massive results. One of the most important principles of the 2% is having a growth mindset instead of a fixed mindset. The 98% believe their abilities, intelligence, and potential are fixed traits, that they are either smart or not, talented or average. But the 2% understand that skills can be learned, intelligence can be developed, and success can be built. They constantly push themselves to learn more, improve their weaknesses, and step outside of their comfort zones. They seek knowledge, read books, and find mentors who can help them grow. The 2% also understand the power of visualization and belief. Before achieving anything, they first see it in their minds. They create a clear vision of their goals and live as if they have already achieved them. This is not wishful thinking. It is a powerful psychological tool. When you train your mind to believe in your success, your actions start aligning with that belief. Your subconscious starts looking for ways to turn that vision into reality. On the other hand, the 98% often doubt themselves. They say, "I'll believe it when I see it." The 2% reverse this thinking and say, "I'll see it because I believe it." Another key difference is that the 2% focus on solutions, while the 98% focus on problems. The average person gets stuck in negativity. When they face obstacles, they complain, overthink, and feel stuck. They waste time worrying instead of acting. But the 2% shift their mindset from problems to solutions. When faced with difficulties, they ask, "How can I overcome this? What's the next step? Who can I learn from?" Instead of getting discouraged, they get resourceful. This simple mindset shift is what allows them to keep moving forward when others give up. Finally, the mindset of the 2% is fueled by relentless self-discipline. They don't rely on motivation, which comes and goes. Instead, they develop habits and routines that keep them on track, no matter how they feel. They wake up early, stick to their schedules, and do the work, even when they don't feel like it. This is what separates them from the 98%, who only work hard when they feel inspired. The 2% understand that success isn't about how you feel in the moment. It's about showing up and doing the work, day in and day out. The truth is, your mindset is the foundation of your success. If you don't shift your thinking, no amount of strategies, techniques, or opportunities will help you. To join the 2%, you must start by reprogramming your mind. Take full responsibility for your life. See failure as a teacher, not a threat. Focus on long-term growth instead of instant gratification. Believe in your ability to improve. Seek solutions instead of dwelling on problems. And most importantly, build unshakable discipline so that you take action regardless of how you feel. This is the mindset of the 2%. This is what separates those who succeed from those who only wish they could. The question is, are you ready to make the shift? Number 2, the discipline factor. If there is one trait that separates the 2% who succeed from the 98% who struggle, it is discipline. Discipline is the bridge between goals and achievements, between dreams and reality. While most people rely on motivation, the 2% know that motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes like the wind. Some days you feel inspired, and other days you don't. But discipline is permanent. It is what keeps you moving forward, even when motivation fades. The truth is, most people fail not because they lack talent, intelligence, or opportunity, but because they lack discipline. The 98% want to succeed, but they are inconsistent. They start a new habit, project, or business, but quit as soon as it gets tough. They promise to exercise, wake up early, or work on their goals. But after a few days, they find excuses. The 2%, on the other hand, understand that success is about showing up every single day, regardless of how they feel. One of the biggest discipline killers is the need for instant gratification. The 98% want results now. They want to lose weight in a week, get rich overnight, or master a skill in a few days. When they don't see quick results, they lose interest and give up. The 2% operate differently. They play the long game. They understand that progress takes time, and success is a result of small, consistent actions over years. They don't get frustrated when things move slowly, because they know that every small step forward is a step closer to greatness. Another key to discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. The 98% let their emotions control their actions. If they feel tired, they skip the workout. If they feel uninspired, they don't work on their business. If they don't feel like studying, they procrastinate. But the 2% have trained themselves to act independently of their emotions. They understand that feelings are temporary, but habits are permanent. When they set a goal, they commit to it. No excuses, no exceptions. One of the most powerful ways the 2% develop discipline is through structured routines. They don't wake up and let the day control them. They control the day. They have a morning routine that sets the tone for success. They wake up early, exercise, read, plan their day, and focus on high-impact tasks before distractions take over. They schedule their time and stick to it because they understand that if you don't control your time, the world will control it for you. The 98% waste hours on distractions, scrolling through social media, watching endless Netflix episodes, and engaging in activities that don't contribute to their success. The 2% do the opposite. They guard their time like their most valuable asset. They know that every wasted hour is an hour they can't get back. They eliminate distractions, set clear priorities, and focus on what truly matters. This doesn't mean they never relax or enjoy life, but they make sure that their work comes first, entertainment second, not the other way around. Another trait that makes the 2% different is their ability to delay pleasure for greater rewards. The 98% want to feel good now. They eat junk food instead of following a healthy diet. They binge watch TV instead of working on their dreams. They spend money on things they don't need instead of investing in their future. The 2% understand that temporary discomfort leads to long-term success. They are willing to put in the hard work today so they can enjoy freedom tomorrow. They resist temptations that give short-term pleasure, but long-term pain. One of the hardest parts of discipline is pushing through when no one is watching. The 98% only work hard when there is an external motivator. When a deadline is near, when someone is watching, or when they are being held accountable. The 2% don't need external validation. They hold themselves accountable. They work hard in silence. They train, study, build, and hustle, even when no one is there to applaud them. They don't need someone pushing them. They push themselves. The 2% also understand that discipline is not something you are born with. It is something you develop. No one is naturally disciplined. Even the most successful people in the world have days when they don't feel like working, exercising, or pushing forward. But they have built a system that keeps them on track. They create an environment that supports their goals. Whether it's keeping their phone away while working, setting alarms to remind them of important tasks, or surrounding themselves with people who hold them to higher standards. One of the biggest secrets of discipline is momentum. The hardest part is getting started. The 98% procrastinate because they wait to feel ready. The 2% know that action creates motivation. Once you start, it becomes easier to keep going. A simple rule they follow is the 2-minute rule. If something takes less than 2 minutes to start, do it immediately. This small action often leads to bigger progress. Finally, the 2% understand that discipline is about consistency, not perfection. No one is perfect. Even the most disciplined people make mistakes, miss workouts, or have unproductive days. But the difference is they never let one bad day turn into a bad week, or one bad week turn into a bad year. They get back on track immediately. They don't quit just because they slipped up once. They know that success isn't about being perfect. It's about being relentless. Discipline is what separates dreamers from doers. It is the ability to control your actions regardless of your emotions and stay committed to your goals no matter what. It is the ultimate superpower of the 2%. Without it, talent is wasted, opportunities are lost, and potential is never realized. But with it, nothing is impossible. The question is, are you willing to do the hard things, the boring things, and the uncomfortable things consistently until success becomes inevitable? Because that is the mindset of the 2%. That is what discipline looks like. Number 3, the art of taking massive action. Success doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't come from wishing, hoping, or even just planning. The difference between the 2% who succeed and the 98% who don't is simple. The 2% take massive action while the rest hesitate. They don't just talk about their goals. They execute relentlessly. They don't wait for the perfect time. They create the time. The truth is, no amount of talent, intelligence, or potential matters if you don't take consistent, bold action. Most people fail, not because they don't have great ideas or big dreams, but because they never take the necessary steps to turn those dreams into reality. One of the biggest reasons the 98% fail is because they overthink. They wait for the right moment, the perfect plan, or more knowledge before they start. They tell themselves they need to read one more book, take one more course, or wait until they feel ready. But here's the harsh truth. You will never feel fully ready. There will always be uncertainty, fear, and doubt. The 2% understand this, and instead of waiting, they start before they're ready. They take action, make mistakes, learn, and adjust along the way. They know that you don't need a perfect plan to begin. You just need to begin. The 98% get stuck in paralysis by analysis. They want everything to be perfect before they act. But the 2% know that perfection is an illusion. They focus on progress, not perfection. They understand that it's better to take imperfect action today than to wait for the perfect plan that never comes. They launch businesses without knowing every detail. They start working out before they feel completely prepared. They invest in themselves without overthinking the risks. Why? Because they know that action brings clarity. The secret weapon of the 2% is speed of implementation. When they learn something new, they apply it immediately. If they get an idea, they act on it before doubt creeps in. One of the best ways to develop this habit is the 5-second rule. The moment you have an idea or feel an urge to take action, count down from 5 and move. This prevents hesitation, self-doubt, and overthinking. The faster you take action, the less time fear has to talk you out of it. Most people fail because they lack consistency. They take action for a few days, then stop when they don't see immediate results. The 2% know that success is not about one big move. It's about small, consistent steps taken every single day. They don't work on their goals only when they feel motivated. They show up no matter what, whether they feel tired, discouraged, or uninspired. They stick to their plan. They understand that motivation is unreliable, but discipline and habit are what create lasting success. Another reason the 98% fail is because they fear failure. They see mistakes as proof that they are not good enough, so they avoid taking risks. But the 2% embrace failure. They know that every failure is a lesson, not a life sentence. They fail fast, fail often, and fail forward. They use every setback as feedback, adjusting their strategies and improving along the way. Instead of being embarrassed by failure, they see it as a necessary part of growth. They know that every successful person has failed more times than the average person has even tried. The 2% also understand the power of urgency. They act as if their dreams have a deadline. They don't waste time procrastinating, making excuses, or getting distracted. They eliminate time-wasting activities and focus on what truly moves them forward. They don't wait for motivation. They create it through action. The more they do, the more momentum they build. One of the biggest lies the 98% believe is that they need motivation to start. They wait until they feel inspired, until the right mood strikes. But the 2% know that motivation comes after action, not before. Once you start moving, once you take that first step, momentum kicks in. A simple way to break out of procrastination is to just commit to 5 minutes. Tell yourself you'll work on your goal for 5 minutes, and before you know it, you'll be in the zone and keep going. The 2% also understand the importance of accountability. They don't rely only on themselves. They set up external forces that push them forward. Whether it's a mentor, a coach, or a mastermind group, they surround themselves with people who won't let them quit. They set deadlines, announce their goals publicly, and create pressure to keep them moving. The 98% try to do everything alone and give up when things get hard. The 2% create an environment where quitting is not an option. Taking massive action doesn't mean you won't feel fear. It means you act despite fear. It means you do it scared, do it uncertain, do it without knowing every step ahead. The 2% are not fearless. They are just willing to move forward even when fear is present. They know that confidence is built through action, not before it. The biggest mistake people make is thinking they need motivation before they take action. But the reality is, action comes first, and motivation follows. Once you start, you create momentum, and momentum keeps you moving forward. The hardest part is the first step, but once you take it, everything else becomes easier. The truth is, you already know what you need to do. You don't need more information, more time, or a perfect plan. You need to stop waiting and start doing. The 2% don't wait for permission, the right moment, or an easy path. They take action, they adjust along the way, and they keep going, no matter what. Now ask yourself, what have you been putting off? What action have you been hesitating to take? What goal have you been delaying? If you want to be in the 2%, stop waiting. Start now. Start messy. Start scared. Just start. Because action is the only thing that separates those who succeed from those who simply dream. Number 4. Mastering skills and lifelong learning. One of the most defining traits of the 2% who succeed is their commitment to lifelong learning and skill mastery. While the 98% stop learning after school, believing they already know enough, the 2% understand that knowledge is power, but applied knowledge is unstoppable. They don't just consume information for the sake of it, they actively seek skills that will make them more valuable, adaptable, and successful. The truth is, in today's fast-changing world, success isn't just about working hard, it's about working smart and constantly upgrading yourself. Most people believe that success is about what you know, but the 2% know that success is actually about how fast you can learn, adapt, and apply new knowledge. The world is evolving at a rapid pace, and those who fail to upgrade their skills are left behind. The biggest career and business killers today are stagnation and complacency. The 98% think their college degree, job training, or past experience is enough. But the 2% know that if you're not growing, you're falling behind. One of the first lessons the 2% learn is that one skill is never enough. The world no longer rewards people who are just good at one. If you want to be financially secure and thrive in any industry, you need to be multi-skilled. The most successful people stack skills. They combine expertise in different areas to create unique opportunities. For example, a great speaker who also understands marketing and sales will always outperform someone who only speaks well. A programmer who also knows business strategy and leadership will always have a competitive edge. The more skills you acquire, the more opportunities open up for you. The 2% don't just wait for schools or employers to teach them new things. They take learning into their own hands. They read books, attend seminars, watch educational videos, listen to podcasts, and seek mentors. They know that every new skill they learn increases their earning potential and career options. The 98% waste time on entertainment, distractions, and activities that add no value to their lives. The 2% invest their time in learning things that will help them succeed. A key strategy of the 2% is that they don't just learn randomly, they learn strategically. They identify the skills that will bring the highest return on investment. They focus on mastering high-income and high-impact skills, such as sales, leadership, negotiation, problem-solving, critical thinking, and communication. The 98% avoid these skills because they require effort, but the 2% know that the most valuable skills take time to develop. Another secret of the 2% is that they seek out mentors and coaches. They don't just try to figure everything out on their own. They learn from people who have already succeeded. They understand that the fastest way to achieve success is to follow someone who has already done it. Instead of making the same mistakes others have made, they learn from those who have paved the way before them. They invest in courses, coaching, and networking with people who can accelerate their learning. The 2% also know that skills without execution are worthless. Learning is useless if you don't apply it. The 98% consume knowledge but rarely act on it. They read books, take courses, and watch motivational videos, but never apply what they learn. The 2% take action immediately. If they learn a new business strategy, they implement it the next day. If they study a new sales technique, they try it on their next client. They turn learning into action as fast as possible. One of the biggest challenges in lifelong learning is overcoming the fear of being a beginner. Many people don't pursue new skills because they don't want to look bad, fail, or feel uncomfortable. But the 2% understand that every expert was once a beginner. They embrace the struggle, the awkwardness, and the learning curve. They fail fast, fail often, and fail forward. They understand that the only way to get better is to start, even when you're bad at something. The 2% also master the art of self-discipline in learning. They don't just learn when they feel like it. They schedule learning as a non-negotiable part of their day. Whether it's reading for 30 minutes, practicing a new skill for an hour, or attending a weekly class, they treat learning as a habit, not a hobby. The 98% say, "I'll learn when I have time." The 2% say, "I make time for learning because my future depends on it." Another advantage the 2% have is their ability to learn how to learn. They don't just memorize information, they understand concepts, break down complex ideas, and connect knowledge across different fields. They ask better questions, challenge assumptions, and think critically. The best learners in the world are also the best thinkers. They don't just accept what they are taught. They analyze, experiment, and apply logic to everything they learn. One of the most powerful things the 2% do is teach what they learn. They know that the best way to master something is to teach it to others. By sharing knowledge, writing about it, or explaining it to someone else, they reinforce their own understanding. They don't just consume information, they spread it, refine it, and improve it. This also makes them leaders, experts, and valuable members of their industry. Lastly, the 2% never stop learning. While the 98% believe learning ends after school, the 2% understand that education is a lifelong process. The world is constantly evolving, and the people who keep learning will always stay ahead. They adapt to change faster, spot opportunities before others, and create success where most people see uncertainty. So ask yourself, when was the last time you invested in a new skill? When was the last time you read a book that could change your life? When was the last time you took action on something you learned? If you want to join the 2%, you must commit to continuous growth, strategic learning, and fearless action. The choice is yours. Stay stagnant or become unstoppable. Number 5. The network of the 2%. One of the most overlooked secrets of success is the power of your environment and the people you surround yourself with. The 2% who succeed understand that your network is your net worth. They know that who you spend time with directly shapes your mindset, habits, and opportunities. While the 98% surround themselves with people who keep them comfortable, stuck, and unmotivated. The 2% intentionally build relationships with those who challenge, inspire, and elevate them. The harsh truth is that you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you are constantly around negative, lazy, or unambitious people, you will adopt their mindset and behaviors, whether you realize it or not. The 2% understand this and are ruthless about their circle. They seek out mentors, high achievers, and people who push them to be better. They know that success is contagious, just like failure is. When you're surrounded by winners, you start thinking and acting like a winner. But if you're surrounded by complainers, doubters, and excuse makers, their mindset will rub off on you, and you'll unconsciously limit yourself. The 98% hold on to toxic relationships because of comfort, fear, or guilt. They stay around people who don't support their dreams because they don't want to be alone or judged. But the 2% are willing to outgrow relationships that no longer serve them. This doesn't mean they abandon everyone, but they are conscious of who they give their energy to. They understand that not everyone is meant to stay in their journey forever. Some people were part of their past, but they have no place in their future. One of the most important things the 2% do differently is actively seeking mentors. While the 98% try to figure everything out on their own, the 2% know that success leaves clues. Instead of wasting time making unnecessary mistakes, They learn directly from people who have already succeeded. They seek advice, guidance, and lessons from those ahead of them. A mentor can cut your learning curve in half, saving you years of trial and error. The 98% often don't seek mentorship because of ego or fear. They don't want to ask for help, or they think they can do everything alone. The 2% know that seeking mentorship is not weakness. It's a shortcut to success. The 2% also understand the importance of networking and building strategic relationships. They don't just wait for opportunities to come to them. They put themselves in places where opportunities are created. They attend seminars, business events, masterminds, and networking meetups. They understand that being in the right room with the right people can open doors that talent alone cannot. While the 98% sit back and wait, hoping for success to find them, the 2% actively position themselves in circles that accelerate their growth. But networking isn't just about knowing people. It's about providing value. The 2% don't just take, they give. They build genuine relationships by helping others, sharing knowledge, and being valuable in every interaction. The 98% network selfishly, always asking, "What can I get?" The 2% ask, "How can I help?" This simple shift in mindset is why they attract powerful and influential people into their lives. People love to help those who first provide value. Another critical factor in the success network of the 2% is accountability. While the 98% rely on motivation, the 2% rely on accountability partners. They understand that success is easier when you have people holding you to a higher standard. They create or join mastermind groups, accountability partnerships, and coaching programs that push them to stay consistent. They don't just set goals, they tell someone they trust about those goals, so they are forced to follow through. This eliminates the option of quitting when things get hard. One of the biggest advantages of being in the right network is access to information and opportunities. The 98% miss out on life-changing opportunities because they are disconnected from high-level circles. The 2% understand that valuable knowledge is often not found in books or online. It is shared in private conversations, exclusive meetings, and high-value relationships. Being surrounded by successful people gives them inside information, insights, and opportunities that most people never hear about. But what if you don't currently have a strong network? The 2% don't make excuses. They build one. If they don't have successful people around them, they start by reading books by great minds, listening to podcasts, and following mentors online. They absorb the mindset of high achievers until they can meet them in person. They also proactively reach out to people who inspire them, whether through direct messages, emails, or attending events where successful individuals gather. They understand that building a powerful network takes effort, but the rewards are worth it. Another key element of the 2% network is learning to cut out negative influences. The 98% allow toxic people to drain their energy. Friends who doubt them, family members who discourage them, co-workers who complain constantly. The 2% protect their mental space by limiting interactions with those who don't support their vision. They are not afraid to set boundaries, distance themselves from negativity, and spend more time with people who uplift and inspire them. The 2% also focus on mentorship beyond just business success. They seek guidance in all areas of life: health, relationships, spirituality, and mindset. They understand that success is not just about money. It's about becoming a well-rounded, fulfilled individual. They don't just want financial success. They want meaningful success. And that comes from learning from people who are excelling in different areas of life. Finally, the 2% embrace collaboration over competition. While the 98% see others as threats, competitors, or rivals, the 2% understand that success is not a zero-sum game. They believe in working together, building partnerships, and creating win-win situations. They know that the fastest way to grow is to align with like-minded individuals who are on the same mission. So ask yourself, who are you surrounding yourself with? Are the people in your life pushing you forward or holding you back? Are you actively seeking mentorship and networking with people who can help you grow? Are you providing value in your relationships, or are you just taking? If you want to be in the 2%, you must take control of your environment, build powerful connections, and surround yourself with people who inspire you to become the best version of yourself. Because in the end, your success will always be a reflection of the company you keep. Number 5. The network of the 2%. One of the most overlooked secrets of success is the power of your environment and the people you surround yourself with. The 2% who succeed understand that your network is your net worth. They know that who you spend time with directly shapes your mindset, habits, and opportunities. While the 98% surround themselves with people who keep them comfortable, stuck, and unmotivated, the 2% intentionally build relationships with those who challenge, inspire, and elevate them. The harsh truth is that you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you are constantly around negative, lazy, or unambitious people, you will adopt their mindset and behaviors, whether you realize it or not. The 2% understand this and are ruthless about their circle. They seek out mentors, high achievers, and people who push them to be better. They know that success is contagious, just like failure is. When you're surrounded by winners, you start thinking and acting like a winner. But if you're surrounded by complainers, doubters, and excuse makers, their mindset will rub off on you, and you'll unconsciously limit yourself. The 98% hold on to toxic relationships because of comfort, fear, or guilt. They stay around people who don't support their dreams because they don't want to be alone or judged. But the 2% are willing to outgrow relationships that no longer serve them. This doesn't mean they abandon everyone, but they are conscious of who they give their energy to. They understand that not everyone is meant to stay in their journey forever. Some people were part of their past, but they have no place in their future. One of the most important things the 2% do differently is actively seeking mentors. While the 98% try to figure everything out on their own, the 2% know that success leaves clues. Instead of wasting time making unnecessary mistakes, they learn directly from people who have already succeeded. They seek advice, guidance, and lessons from those ahead of them. A mentor can cut your learning curve in half, saving you years of trial and error. The 98% often don't seek mentorship because of ego or fear. They don't want to ask for help, or they think they can do everything alone. The 2% know that seeking mentorship is not weakness. It's a shortcut to success. The 2% also understand the importance of networking and building strategic relationships. They don't just wait for opportunities to come to them. They put themselves in places where opportunities are created. They attend seminars, business events, masterminds, and networking meetups. They understand that being in the right room with the right people can open doors that talent alone cannot. While the 98% sit back and wait, hoping for success to find them, the 2% actively position themselves in circles that accelerate their growth. But networking isn't just about knowing people, it's about providing value. The 2% don't just take, they give. They build genuine relationships by helping others, sharing knowledge, and being valuable in every interaction. The 98% network selfishly, always asking, "What can I get?" The 2% ask, "How can I help?" This simple shift in mindset is why they attract powerful and influential people into their lives. People love to help those who first provide value. Another critical factor in the success network of the 2% is accountability. While the 98% rely on motivation, the 2% rely on accountability partners. They understand that success is easier when you have people holding you to a higher standard. They create or join mastermind groups, accountability partnerships, and coaching programs that push them to stay consistent. They don't just set goals, they tell someone they trust about those goals, so they are forced to follow through. This eliminates the option of quitting when things get hard. One of the biggest advantages of being in the right network is access to information and opportunities. The 98% miss out on life-changing opportunities because they are disconnected from high-level circles. The 2% understand that valuable knowledge is often not found in books or online. It is shared in private conversations, exclusive meetings, and high-value relationships. Being surrounded by successful people gives them inside information, insights, and opportunities that most people never hear about. But what if you don't currently have a strong network? The 2% don't make excuses. They build one. If they don't have successful people around them, they start by reading books by great minds, listening to podcasts, and following mentors online. They absorb the mindset of high achievers until they can meet them in person. They also proactively reach out to people who inspire them, whether through direct messages, emails, or attending events where successful individuals gather. They understand that building a powerful network takes effort, but the rewards are worth it. Another key element of the 2% network is learning to cut out negative influences. The 98% allow toxic people to drain their energy, friends who doubt them, family members who discourage them, co-workers who complain constantly. The 2% protect their mental space by limiting interactions with those who don't support their vision. They are not afraid to set boundaries, distance themselves from negativity, and spend more time with people who uplift and inspire them. The 2% also focus on mentorship beyond just business success. They seek guidance in all areas of life: health, relationships, spirituality, and mindset. They understand that success is not just about money. It's about becoming a well-rounded, fulfilled individual. They don't just want financial success. They want meaningful success. And that comes from learning from people who are excelling in different areas of life. Finally, the 2% embrace collaboration over competition. While the 98% see others as threats, competitors, or rivals, the 2% understand that success is not a zero-sum game. They believe in working together, building partnerships, and creating win-win situations. They know that the fastest way to grow is to align with like-minded individuals who are on the same mission. So ask yourself, who are you surrounding yourself with? Are the people in your life pushing you forward or holding you back? Are you actively seeking mentorship and networking with people who can help you grow? Are you providing value in your relationships, or are you just taking? If you want to be in the 2%, you must take control of your environment, build powerful connections, and surround yourself with people who inspire you to become the best version of yourself. Because in the end, your success will always be a reflection of the company you keep. Number 6. Financial intelligence and wealth building. Money is one of the biggest factors that determines the quality of life. It affects freedom, opportunities, and the ability to pursue one's dreams. Yet, 98% of people struggle financially, not because they don't work hard, but because they lack financial intelligence. They don't understand how money works, how to manage it, or how to multiply it. The 2% who succeed think about money differently. They don't just earn money, they make money work for them. They build wealth, not just income. They understand that financial success is not about how much you make, but about how well you manage, invest, and grow what you earn. One of the biggest mistakes the 98% make is living paycheck to paycheck. No matter how much money they earn, they spend everything, and often even more than they make. They get a raise, and instead of saving or investing, they upgrade their car, buy unnecessary things, or increase their lifestyle costs. The 2% operate differently. They live below their means and use their money wisely. They prioritize financial freedom over instant gratification. While the 98% buy liabilities, things that lose value over time, like expensive cars, designer clothes, and luxury items, the 2% invest in assets, things that grow in value like stocks, real estate, businesses, and intellectual property. A key financial principle the 2% follow is paying themselves first. The 98% pay everyone else first: their landlord, the grocery store, their subscriptions. And if anything is left, they save. But the 2% save and invest before spending on anything unnecessary. They put a portion of their income aside immediately, treating it like a non-negotiable bill. They understand that financial freedom isn't about how much you earn, but how much you keep and grow. The 98% rely solely on one source of income, usually a job, making them vulnerable to economic downturns, layoffs, and financial instability. The 2% never depend on a single income stream. They understand that financial security comes from multiple streams of income. They build side businesses, invest in real estate, trade stocks, create digital products, or generate passive income through various means. They don't just work for money, they make money work for them. One of the biggest financial traps the 98% fall into is debt. They borrow money for things that don't make them richer: cars, vacations, shopping, and expensive lifestyles. The 2% use debt wisely, borrowing only to invest in things that produce income, businesses, property, or education that increases their earning potential. They never take on debt just to impress others. They know that financial freedom is about owning your time and choices, not being trapped in endless payments and financial stress. Another major difference is that the 2% think long-term, while the 98% think short-term. The 98% focus on earning money now and spending it immediately, while the 2% invest with the future in mind. They understand the power of compound interest, how small, consistent investments grow exponentially over time. They don't just think about making money this year, they think about how their actions today will impact their financial situation 10, 20, or 30 years from now. Financial intelligence is not just about earning and saving, it's about investing. The 98% fear investing because they don't understand it. They see it as risky, so they avoid it, and leave their money sitting in the bank, where inflation slowly eats away its value. The 2% educate themselves on investing. They learn about stocks, real estate, businesses, and assets that generate income. They understand that investing is not gambling when you are informed. They study, take calculated risks, and make their money grow instead of letting it sit idle. One of the biggest lies people believe is that you need money to make money. The 2% understand that knowledge is more powerful than money. Many successful people started with nothing, but they educated themselves, developed financial discipline, and made smart decisions. The 98% say, I don't have money to invest. The 2% say, how can I learn to invest with what I have? The difference is in their mindset. The 2% also avoid financial traps like lifestyle inflation. The 98% increase their spending as soon as they start earning more, upgrading to a bigger house, a fancier car, or an expensive lifestyle. The 2% maintain financial discipline even as their income grows. They don't let ego drive their purchases. They focus on building wealth, not looking rich. They understand that true wealth is freedom, not material possessions. One of the most important financial habits of the 2% is tracking their money. They know where every dollar goes. They set budgets, track expenses, and analyze their spending. The 98% avoid looking at their finances because they are afraid to face reality. But the 2% take full control of their money. They plan, adjust, and stay aware of their financial situation at all times. Another key financial rule the 2% follow is creating an emergency fund. While the 98% are unprepared for unexpected expenses, relying on credit cards when emergencies happen, the 2% always have a financial cushion. They prepare for the unexpected, ensuring that a financial crisis doesn't wipe them out. One of the most powerful things the 2% understand is that money is a tool, not a goal. The 98% chase money for the sake of having more, often getting trapped in jobs they hate or working just to survive. The 2% use money as a means to create choices, opportunities, and freedom. They see wealth as a way to help others, contribute to society, and live life on their own terms. Lastly, the 2% teach financial intelligence to their children and future generations. They know that true wealth is not just about money, it's about knowledge, habits, and discipline. The 98% pass down bad money habits, overspending, avoiding investments, and living paycheck to paycheck. The 2% break the cycle by educating their families on financial responsibility. So ask yourself, are you controlling your money, or is money controlling you? Are you making smart financial decisions that will create freedom, or are you just surviving? Are you investing in assets, or are you spending on liabilities? If you want to join the 2%, you must start thinking differently about money. Save wisely, invest aggressively, live below your means, and never stop learning. Because financial freedom is not about how much you make, it's about how smart you are with what you have. The choice is yours. Will you be financially free, or will you be trapped in the cycle of the 98%? Number 7. The resilience and grit of the 2%. If there is one defining trait that truly separates the 2% who succeed from the 98% who struggle, it is resilience. Success is not about who is the smartest, the most talented, or even the most connected. It is about who can keep going when things get tough. The world is full of people who had potential, but never made it because they gave up too soon. The 98% quit when things get hard. They see obstacles as stop signs. The 2% push through, no matter how difficult the journey gets. They understand that the road to success is filled with setbacks, failures, and challenges, but they refuse to give up. The biggest mistake most people make is believing that success should be easy. They expect a smooth path, instant results, and little resistance. The moment they face difficulty, doubt, or failure, they retreat. They tell themselves that maybe success just isn't for them. But the 2% know the truth. Success is supposed to be hard. The challenges are there to test your commitment. They separate those who are truly serious about their goals from those who are only interested in success, as long as it's convenient. One of the core differences between the 2% and the 98% is how they handle failure. The 98% fear failure so much that they avoid taking risks altogether. They don't start businesses, apply for big opportunities, or pursue ambitious goals because they are afraid of failing. The 2% embrace failure as part of the process. They see every mistake as a lesson, every rejection as feedback, and every setback as an opportunity to grow. They fail fast, fail forward, and fail often because they understand that failure is just a stepping stone to success. The 98% take failure personally. When they fail, they see it as a reflection of their worth. They assume they are not good enough, not talented enough, or not lucky enough. The 2% separate failure from their identity. They don't see it as a personal weakness, but as a necessary experience to refine their skills and strategies. They don't dwell on mistakes. They learn from them and keep moving forward. Another key difference is that the 2% have an unstoppable mindset. They don't just work hard when they feel like it. They push through even on the days when they don't want to. The 98% let emotions dictate their actions. If they feel tired, they skip their goals. If they feel discouraged, they stop working. If things don't go as planned, they give up. The 2% train themselves to act despite their feelings. They understand that success doesn't care how you feel. It only rewards consistent action. The 2% also develop a high tolerance for pain and discomfort. They know that growth comes from doing things that are difficult, uncomfortable, and sometimes painful. The 98% avoid discomfort at all costs. They stay in their comfort zones, avoiding anything that challenges them. They don't push themselves because it's easier to stay the same. The 2% do the opposite. They intentionally seek challenges. They know that the more they expose themselves to difficulty, the stronger they become. One of the most powerful traits of the 2% is their ability to adapt. The 98% give up when things don't go according to plan. If their first attempt fails, they assume it's impossible. If one strategy doesn't work, they abandon the goal. But the 2% pivot, adjust, and find new ways to make things happen. They are flexible in their approach, but unbreakable in their commitment. They are willing to change their methods, but they never change their goals. Another key trait of the 2% is patience. The 98% are impatient. They expect results overnight. They start working out and get frustrated when they don't see results in a week. They start a business and quit when they don't make money immediately. They expect quick success, and when it doesn't come, they lose motivation. The 2% play the long game. They understand that real success takes time. They are willing to work for years without seeing results because they believe in the process. They don't chase quick wins. They build lasting success. One of the hardest things about success is dealing with criticism and rejection. The 98% are so afraid of what people will think that they never take action. They don't chase big dreams because they fear being judged. They don't take risks because they don't want to look stupid. But the 2% understand that criticism is part of the game. They know that the bigger the dream, the more resistance they will face. Instead of letting negative opinions stop them, they use them as fuel. They understand that most people who criticize are just projecting their own fears and insecurities. Another major trait of the 2% is extreme self-belief. The 98% constantly doubt themselves. They wait for someone to tell them they are good enough, talented enough, or ready. But the 2% don't wait for external validation. They believe in themselves even when no one else does. They don't need approval to take action. They trust that if they put in the work, they will figure it out. Resilience is not something you are born with. It is something you build. The 2% don't have superpowers. They simply make a choice every day to keep going. They choose to fight through the difficulties, push past the rejections, and take action despite fear. The 98% wait for the right moment, the right conditions, or the right mindset. The 2% don't wait for anything. They take control and create their own success. The ultimate truth about resilience is that it is built through struggle. The 2% don't have easier lives. They just respond to hardship differently. While the 98% complain and make excuses, the 2% find solutions and take responsibility. They don't waste time feeling sorry for themselves. They turn pain into power, obstacles into opportunities, and failure into fuel. So ask yourself, when things get hard, do you quit or do you push through? When you face failure, do you give up or do you learn from it? When life tests you, do you break or do you rise? Success is not for the weak-hearted. It is for those who are willing to endure, adapt, and keep going, no matter what. If you want to be part of 2%, you must develop unshakable resilience. You must become someone who refuses to give up, no matter how many times you fail. Because in the end, the people who succeed are not the ones who had it easy. They are the ones who had every reason to quit, but chose to keep going anyway. Success is not something you chase. It's something you attract by becoming the person who deserves it. Now you know why only 2% succeed. It's not about talent, luck, or background. It's about mindset, discipline, action, learning, networking, financial intelligence, and resilience. It's about how you think, how you behave, and how you respond to challenges. The truth is, most people will never apply these principles. They will hear them, feel inspired for a moment, and then go back to their old habits. They will make excuses, delay action, and stay trapped in the cycle of mediocrity. But a few, just a few, will decide that today is the day they break free. The 98% will continue to dream without action. They will blame their circumstances, wait for the perfect moment, and remain stuck in their comfort zones. They will watch others succeed and wonder why life is unfair. But the 2% will take responsibility. They will understand that no one is coming to save them. Their future is in their own hands. They will stop waiting and start building. They will commit to growth, challenge themselves daily, and push past the limits of their fears. Now the question is, which one will you be? Are you going to be like the 98%, always talking about what you want, but never taking real action? Or will you be among the 2%, the ones who commit, execute, and persist until success is inevitable? If you are ready to step up, here's what you must do right now. Stop making excuses and take full responsibility for your life. Develop the habits of the 2%, discipline, consistency, and relentless action. Expand your knowledge and skills because success favors those who never stop learning. Surround yourself with winners because your environment shapes your future. Master your finances so you can control your money instead of letting it control you. And most importantly, become unstoppable. Refuse to quit, no matter how many times you fail. If you take these steps, success will no longer be a mystery. It will become the natural result of who you are becoming. But it won't happen overnight. It won't be easy. There will be challenges, setbacks, and moments when you doubt yourself. But if you stay committed, keep pushing, and never give up, you will join the 2%. This is your moment. This is your turning point. So are you ready to take action and create the life you truly deserve? The choice is yours.